I want to talk about the word Ubuntu. You've heard it before, maybe from Nelson Mandela or Desmond Tutu. It means I am because we are. In a world of me, and faster, Ubuntu is the ultimate disruption. It's why our time is flexible. If I am late to a meeting because I stopped to help a neighbor whose car broke down, in South Africa, I am not unprofessional. I am being human. My humanity is more important than the calendar. Singapore, I know you live by the efficiency code. London, I know the tube schedule is your Bible. But tonight, I want to challenge you. Tomorrow, try to give someone your now. Give them 15 minutes where you don't look at your phone. Give them a just now where you promise to do something, not because it's a task, but because you care about the result. We are a country of 11 official languages, but the language of time is the one that connects us all. We've survived history that would have broken other nations. We've come through the fire and we've come out smiling, dancing, and inventing. We aren't lazy. We are selective. We select what matters. And what matters is people. So as we look at these final AI images of a world where Ubuntu is the architecture, where cities are built for walking and talking, not just commuting, I want you to take a breath. The world isn't going to end if you are 5 minutes late to a Zoom call. But the world might just get a little better if you use those 5 minutes to be kind.
All right, guys, let's pivot. There's a saying I heard before from the West. It says, they have a backup plan for their backup plans. That's cute. In South Africa, our backup plan is usually a piece of wire, a prayer, and a half-eaten stick of biltong. We call it a boer maak 'n plan. A farmer makes a plan. But it's not just for farmers anymore, it's a national psychological state. While the rest of the world waits for a technician, a South African has already fixed the Wi-Fi using a coat hanger and a soda can tab. Why does this matter to you in London or New York? Because the world is getting unpredictable. Supply chains are breaking, systems are glitching. You guys call it crisis management. We call it Tuesday. Let's talk about serious facts. South Africa is a global leader in synthetic fuels. Because of historical isolation, we had to figure out how to turn coal into gas, Sasol. We didn't wait for the world to ship us oil. We looked at what we had and said, we'll do it ourselves. Now. And speaking of doing it ourselves, let's talk about the great South African braai. To the Americans in the chat, you call it a barbecue. To the Australians, it's a barbie. But a braai is a sacred scientific ritual. In the USA, you turn a knob on a gas grill and poof, fire. That's too easy. That's fast time. In South Africa, a braai is slow time. You have to build the fire from scratch. You have to watch the wood turn to coals. You have to stand around the fire for 3 hours before a single piece of meat even touches the grid. This is where the now and just now confusion usually kills our international guests. You arrive at an SA house at 6 p.m. for a dinner. By 9 p.m. you are starving and the host says, "The coals are almost ready. We'll eat just now." In London, people would be calling the police. In Japan, this would be a national scandal. But in South Africa, that's the point. The food is just the excuse. The time spent standing around the fire, debating if the Springboks are the greatest rugby team of all time, fact, they are, is the actual event. We don't eat to live, we live to stand around a fire and wait for the just now to happen. Guys, what's the longest you've ever waited for a meal? While you answer, I'm going to show you what an AI super braai in the year 2099 looks like.
talk about robots. No, not the artificial intelligence AI I'm using to make these videos. That is social infrastructure. It's the stuff you can't download from an app. It's the serious fact behind our humor. South Africans have a high social IQ. We know how to navigate chaos because we've never had the luxury of perfect order. And then there are the car guards. To my friends in the USA, imagine you park your car at a grocery store and a man in a neon vest appears out of nowhere. He doesn't work for the store, he doesn't work for the city, he just exists. He tells you, "I've got you, boss." And you know what? He does have you. For the price of a few coins, you have a personal security detail. It's the world's most informal, most efficient security tech. If we applied car guard logic to global cybersecurity, nobody would ever get hacked again. You just have a guy in a neon vest standing in front of your firewall saying, "Sharp, sharp, I'm watching your data, boss." Let's ask the AI to imagine a world where South African street logic is the global standard for safety. Let's talk about the dress code of time. In Tokyo, London, USA, and Singapore, your shoes define you. They must be polished, they must be expensive. In South Africa, especially in the coastal cities like Cape Town, Durban, or Port Elizabeth, shoes are basically optional equipment. You will see people of all walks of life walking into a Woolworths grocery store in a t-shirt and bare feet. This isn't because they can't afford shoes, it's because they are on beach time. There is a freedom in South Africa that is hard to explain to someone who has lived their whole life in a suit culture. It's the freedom to be comfortable in your own skin. It's the freedom to say, "The world is beautiful, the ground is warm. Why would I put a piece of rubber between me and the earth?" This is the serious message behind the bare feet. We are grounded. We haven't lost our connection to the actual planet.
As we look at the UK and the EU right now, with all the stress of modernity, maybe the solution isn't more technology. Maybe the solution is just taking your shoes off for 10 minutes and standing on the grass. I'm showing you a barefoot boardroom. Imagine a world where the CEOs of the biggest companies in the world are sitting around a table, barefoot, drinking rooibos tea and deciding the future of the planet on now time. Guys, if you could show up to work barefoot tomorrow, would you do it? Or are you too civilized for that? I want you to imagine a Saturday afternoon in a typical South African suburb. In the UK, if you want to visit a neighbor, you might need to send an appointment in advance. In Japan, you wouldn't dream of showing up unannounced. But in South Africa, the smoke from the fire is the only invitation you need. We've talked about being barefoot, but let's talk about the open gate policy. When the wood starts to crackle, and it's always wood, never gas, because a South African would rather wait 3 hours for real coals than eat a fast steak, something happens to the neighborhood. The fence doesn't feel like a barrier, it feels like a suggestion. You'll be standing there, tongs in one hand, a cold beverage in the other, and a neighbor will just appear. They'll have a 6-pack of beer in one hand and a bowl of potato salad or a chakalaka, that spicy, soul-healing vegetable relish, in the other. There was no start time. There is no end time. We don't live by the clock. We live by the calls. The sound of the soul, amapiano. And then there's the music. If you look at the global charts right now, you'll see a word popping up everywhere. Amapiano. It's our gift to the world's dance floors. But in an informal essay gathering, amapiano isn't just background noise, it's the heartbeat. It's that deep percussive log drum sound that vibrates in your chest. It's a hybrid of deep house, jazz and kwaito. It's the sound of the now. When that bass hits, it doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or a student.
You're moving. Serious facts. The outdoor obsession. Why are we like this? Why is our culture so outside? The climate. We have a landscape that demands to be seen. From the red dunes of the Kalahari to the lush forests of Knysna, South Africans are obsessed with the great outdoors. The safari spirit. Even if we live in the city, we have a safari mindset. We go on game drives, not just to see the big five, but to remind ourselves that we are part of something bigger and wilder than an office cubicle. The health of barefoot. I mentioned South Africans doing Woolworths shopping earlier, but here's a serious scientific fact for my friends in the EU. South African researchers at Stellenbosch University actually study barefoot culture. They found that South African children have wider, healthier feet and better motor function than their shoe-wearing counterparts in Europe. Being barefoot isn't about poverty. It's a biological advantage. It's the ultimate grounding tech. This is the working clever spirit. We've realized that you can be a high-flying tech entrepreneur during the week. But if you don't take your shoes off, stand by a fire, listen to some amapiano, and share a laugh with a neighbor who just dropped in on Saturday, you're doing life wrong. Guys, I want to ask you, does your neighbor even know your name? If you started a braai, barbecue as some call it, in your backyard right now, would they call the fire department, call the police, or would they bring a salad?
We've spent the last half an hour in the golden light of the South African sun. We've laughed at our robots, we've smelled the wood smoke of the braai, and we've felt the warm earth under our bare feet. But as any South African will tell you, when the sun dips behind the jagged edge of the Drakensberg or the flat silhouette of Table Mountain, the atmosphere changes. In the cities of the north, London, Berlin, New York, the night is just an extension of the day, lit up by millions of artificial bulbs. But in the vast heart of the south, the darkness is heavy, it's ancient, and it's occupied. Now we're moving away from the physics of time and into the metaphysics of the unknown. We're going to talk about the things that don't appear on the tourist brochures. The creatures that parents whisper about to keep their children indoors. The myths that are so deeply woven into our soil that even the most modern South African feels a chill when they hear a rustle in the long grass. Guys, I want to know, what's the local legend in your part of the world? Do you have the Mothman, the Oni, the Banshee? While you share your nightmares, I'm going to show you ours. Welcome to the Shadow Veld. We're going deep into the myths of the South right now. Let's start with the one that every South African child knows by name, the Tokoloshi. To the world, he sounds like a fairy tale. But in the serious reality of our culture, this isn't a joke. Tokoloshi is mischievous, often a malevolent water spirit, summoned by a witch doctor to cause chaos. He's the reason things go missing. He's the reason you wake up with a scratch you can't explain. He is the physical manifestation of the unseen.
But let's look at the Grootslang. Deep in the Richtersveld, in a cave known as the Wonder Hole, legend says there is a creature that is half elephant, half serpent. The story goes that the gods made a mistake when they created the world. They made the Grootslang too powerful, too intelligent, and too cunning. So they split it into two animals, the elephant and the snake. But one escaped. It said he guards a pit of diamonds.
For my friends in Singapore and London who deal in global finance, imagine a security system that has been guarding its assets for 10,000 years with the strength of a tusker and the venom of a king cobra. And then there is the Mamlambo, the goddess of rivers. She is described as a giant snake-like creature with a horse's head. She loves thunderstorms. When the lightning strikes the water, that is her dancing. She is beautiful and terrifying. She represents the power of our water, the life giver and the life taker. These myths aren't just scary stories. They are how we process the wildness of our land. We live in a place where nature is still the boss. In the UK, the wild has been mostly paved over. In the USA, it's fenced into parks. But in South Africa, the wild is just outside your window. When you hear a sound in the dark in Johannesburg, you think, is that a burglar? Or is that something much older?
Guys, have you ever seen something on a lonely road that you couldn't explain? Was it a trick of the light, or was it something else? While you remember your road stories, I want to show you the Karoo at night. It's one of the best places on earth for stargazing. But it's also the place where the silence is the loudest. In South Africa, the Tokoloshe has undergone a digital upgrade. He is no longer just a physical creature under a bed. He has become a metaphor for the things we can't control. In the old days, he was a biological warning, a story used to keep people from sleeping low to the ground where carbon monoxide from floor fires could kill them. It was primitive science wrapped in a scary story. Today, the Tokoloshe is what we blame when the bank app glitches. He's the glitch in the matrix when your high-speed fiber drops during a big stream. He represents the chaos factor in a country that is trying to be the Silicon Valley of Africa, while still honoring its ancient roots. Even in a world of AI and 6G, when a South African hears a strange sound in a dark hallway, we don't think ghost. We think of that short, powerful, mischievous entity. We've moved him from under our beds into the back of our minds. He's the ultimate survivor. He survived the move from the rural fireside to the suburban bedroom. He's the South African version of the boogeyman, but with a twist. He's not just for kids. Adults here, serious suit-wearing businessmen in Cape Town, will still half-jokingly blame a bad business deal on the short man. It's about the tension between our modern ambition and our primal memory. We are 100% connected to the world, but we still respect the shadows. Guys, I want to ask you, even with all your technology, your smart cameras and your Ring doorbells, do you ever feel like there's something the sensors aren't picking up? Or something you can't explain that the cameras pick up?
Now, let's talk about the Amadlozi, the ancestors. And again, let's break the stereotype. To the world, ancestor worship sounds like something out of a history book. But in South Africa, it's a living, breathing social network. We don't worship them, we consult them. Think of it like a cosmic LinkedIn where your board of directors is made up of your great-grandparents. Whether you're a software engineer in Tokyo or a doctor in London, if you're South African, there's a part of you that believes your success isn't just yours. It belongs to the lineage behind you. The modern shift, the real humor mixed with serious facts here, is how we've modernized these beliefs. The fact, many South Africans are moving away from the outward rituals. We don't all go to a Sangoma, traditional healer, anymore. But we've replaced it with a hybrid spirituality. The humor, you'll see someone post a photo of their new Mercedes on Instagram with the caption #Zukulila or #AncestorsProvided. We've taken the ancient idea of blessings and applied them to 2026 consumer culture. But there's a deeper, more serious trend. As we move further into the AI era, More young South Africans are feeling a sense of digital burnout. They are leaving the cities to go back to the rural home for a weekend just to report to the elders. Not because they are superstitious, but because they need to unplug from the global clock and plug back into their own history. It's a search for identity in a world that wants everyone to be the same. The rest of the world is just now discovering mindfulness and grounding. We've been doing it for centuries. We just called it talking to the old people. We are moving away from the fear of the spirits and moving toward a respect for the legacy. Guys, do you feel like you owe your success to those who came before you? Or are you a self-made glitch in your family tree? Let's ask Gemini to visualize the ancestral server, the place where the past meets the future. We are moving from the mystical into the modern grid. Because South Africans aren't just dreamers, they are the ultimate life hackers.